Welcome to Season 3 of the Spotlight series, Don't Just Survive, Thrive. Season 1 was launched to help people through the pandemic by talking to a variety of experts about topics such as psychology, finance, and health. Season 2 focused on more work-related issues, including HR, marketing, and leadership. Now it is time for Season 3. Season 3 is centred on the IT industry, specifically tech startups. There are also career spotlights where I talk to senior IT people about the secrets to their impressive career journeys. My name is Nicola Steele, founder of JJP Talent Solutions, an Australian IT recruitment company. For over 20 years, I've helped tech startups and innovative SMEs to attract, recruit, and retain technical talent. I hope you enjoy listening. I'm delighted to introduce Sharyn Doolan. Sharyn has many years' experience as a professional voiceover artist. When she speaks, you will no doubt recognise her voice. Sharyn is also the founder of an early-stage tech startup called Zijit, which she describes as Shazam for creatives. Today, we're going to talk about the challenges of being an early-stage startup founder. Sharyn, thank you for joining me on Season 3, Episode 6 of the Spotlight series, Don't Just Survive, Thrive.
Thank you. It is wonderful to be here.
Thank you very much. And I hope I've pronounced the name of your company correctly. I was stumbling over my words just then with Zijit and then Shazam. It's a bit of a tongue twister.
Both of them have got Z in it.
Yes, absolutely.
Zijit.
Thank you, Zijit. Well, thank you very much, Sharyn. And tell me a bit more about your career over the years. And also, please put the listeners out of their misery. Where have we heard you before?
Oh, gosh. You've been listening to me for a very, very, very long time. I will start back in the beginning and then work my way through to now. Is that okay?
That's perfect.
Great. Okay. Well, as a teenager, I was on stage in amateur theatre and I loved it. I loved being able to entertain people and make them happy, even just for a moment. And I was told by everybody, do not become an actor because there's no money in it. So being a teenager and listening to my parents and everyone who was older, I went, okay. I didn't want to be a secretary, which is what mum and dad wanted me to be. I was far too creative. So I started to look at radio. And I didn't think my voice was okay. I thought it was very deep for a girl. You know, all the other girls were a lot higher and a lot chirpier. And here I am with this, deeper voice. But I loved radio. And I thought, okay, if I get into radio and do something behind the scenes, that's going to be a whole bunch of fun. That's what my thought pattern was. Other program directors and people that I met along the way had a different idea. They heard my voice and went, wow, you could be on the radio. And so I did a couple of different courses when I was down in Melbourne to learn how to be a radio announcer. One was a class tuition and one was private tuition. So let me say, when I got out of those, I thought I knew everything.
Oh.
I did not. Like I was top of the class and loved it. It was just, it was such a magical world. But I soon found out I knew nothing. And I left Melbourne, came to Brisbane because back then there was a radio station that was fairly new called FM 104. Nowadays you would know it as Triple M, but it was FM 104 Triple M. And they were looking for a female announcer, which back in the 80s was a rarity. Very, very, very rare to find any female on the radio, let alone doing a solo gig. And even nowadays, 30 odd years later, it's still very rare to find a solo female announcer holding her own show. But that's what they were looking for back in 1984. So I jumped on the back of my boyfriend's motorbike. He came from Melbourne up to Brisbane and said, hi, I'm here. I want the job.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I did. Well, it took about 6 months of training in my own time, coming to the radio station every single moment that I had free to train and train and train and train and train. Ted Seymour and Bill Reiner were absolutely wonderful. Plus all of the announcers that were there, they helped me no end. And they gave me advice and feedback, and it was wonderful. But for 6 months, I did extra training. And eventually I got on air. And it was just a completely other world. And I stayed on air on radio for 18 years. Everything you could possibly imagine. See, I started out doing Midnight to Dawn at FM 104, but I changed radio stations over the years. I did every single shift you could possibly imagine, different formats, from talkback right through to music, rocky jockey, through to, pop and, old time country, the whole kit and caboodle. So had a lot of experience in radio, 18 years. But radio changed, and it became networked. It became less about the listeners and more about the network. And I didn't like that. I really didn't, because I think radio is very much a one-to-one kind of medium. So in 2001, I left radio. And as far as I was concerned, I was going to leave radio behind completely. Well, that story's changed. I'll get to that in just a moment. So, in 2001, I left radio to do voiceovers completely, working for myself. And I did that, from 2001 until now. So all around Australia, all around the world, I am hired for doing voiceovers, everything from radio and TV commercials through to on-hold messages, explainer videos, audiobooks, animation, documentaries, corporate videos, you name it. I'm heard on it. But most recently, to put you out of your misery,
yes,
when the coronavirus hit, I am the voice that was telling you to wash your hands and to make sure that you had hand hygiene and to cover your face when you were sneezing. So, authorised by the Australian Government Canberra.
So that's where we know you.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I described you as the voice of the coronavirus, but I'm not quite right with regards to that. You're not speaking on behalf of COVID-19.
Well, a friend of mine, when I told him that I was the voice of the federal government's ad campaign, he looked at me and he grinned and he said, "Yep, I knew the coronavirus was a redhead."
My goodness, how rude is that?
I laughed. I thought it was funny.
Well, that's where we all know you. And you've got this fabulous career history in radio, being a voiceover artist. What made you decide to go into the crazy world of startup land? And why do you think there's a need for Zijit?
Okay, I've always been entrepreneurial anyway. I was one of the first people in Australia and certainly in Brisbane and to set up my own studio at home. But I've always been entrepreneurial, even when I was a kid, coming up with solutions to problems that I could see out in the marketplace. And it's something that's a whole bunch of fun for me. But as far as Zijit is concerned, the industry for voiceovers is a wonderful industry. There's a lot of people, unfortunately, who are coming into the industry and they have no training, or more to the point, they have about a weekend of training and think that they can go out and be a voiceover artist because, it's easy. I just talk into a microphone and I can make money. So for people like myself who, see, I regard my career in radio, because I was reading ads for the radio stations that I work for. I regard that very much as an 18-year apprenticeship. So I kind of earned my stripes. Someone doing a weekend workshop has not earned their stripes, and they know that. So what's happening, and particularly now with the lockdown, and people are frantic, and I get this, they're frantic to make money. So they have a microphone, plug it into their computer and say, "Hey, I'm a voiceover artist." Well, no, you're not. And they're actually doing a lot of harm to the industry, not only for themselves, but for businesses that they're doing the voiceovers for and for the industry as a whole. they're driving the prices down. So what you've got is a lot of people who, hey, I'm a voiceover artist. Haven't been doing this for very long, so I'm just going to charge you $5, and that's going to be fine. So it's not fine. It might be $5 for you as a little part-time gig, but it actually really does hurt the industry. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to do something for the entire industry. But I took a half a step back and I decided that, or actually more to the point, I could see that the problems that were occurring for the voiceover industry were occurring for all of the people in the creative industries. And that is, give you the example, and this is why we've got the Shazam example. Okay, IMDb is the Internet Movie Database. So at the end of every single movie, you have a list of credits of all of the people that worked on that movie, everyone, not just the actors. And all of that information goes into IMDb. Then on the other side of the coin, you've got Shazam, and that identifies music, takes you across to a page where you can read more information about the artist that you're interested in. You can even buy the music if you want. At the moment, there is nothing like that for the creative industries, and that's where Zijit sits. So we've got a database where all of the information is going to be stored, and we also have the app that can identify. So imagine you're sitting at home on your couch and you're watching TV and an ad comes up, and it's a very, very clever ad. And you think, wow, who did that? Well, click the app, like Shazam, and it will tell you all of the people that were involved in the creation of that particular ad. Now, it could be one person who's created the whole thing, or it could be 1,000. But out of curiosity, if you wanted to find out who it was, you could click the button and find out. And even further, you could go into profile pages for each of the people. So if you've got a copywriter, as an example, and you're thinking, wow, I could do with a copywriter for my own ad campaign, who did that? That was really clever. You can contact them and say, hey, saw your ad, such and such. Are you available? I'd like to hire you to do some copywriting for me. And that's amazing. That kind of thing does not happen right now in the industry at all. As soon as any one of us finishes a job, that's it. It goes out the door and we get no recognition whatsoever for it. This means that you get recognition forever for it. So 40 years down the track, wouldn't it be nice to have a phone call from some millennial saying, hey, Grandpa, I saw your ad on YouTube. That's really cool.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
It would. And it's giving credit to the people who are doing the work. So I think that nowadays is really important because we're all freelancers, or a majority of us are freelancers, and we're working from home. So we don't get the chance to meet. This is another way of networking within the job. Like you see the job when it's finished and it's like, oh, yeah, Nicola, you're the copywriter on this one. I could pick up the phone or I could email you and say, hey, you and I worked on the same project. That was really cool. Wanted to say thank you. So at the moment, that can't happen because no one knows.
And yeah, because people will recognize your voice, but they won't be able to know where you came from, so to speak, when they think, I know her.
Yeah. Like they might recognize my voice, but they don't know who I am. So give you an example for the coronavirus ads. Yeah, people got to hear me. Unless you actually knew who I was and knew me personally, and this happens all the time. People go, oh, Sharyn, I saw your ad, or I heard your ad, or blah, blah, blah. Quite literally up until you and I met a couple of weeks ago, you would not have known that I was the voice for any of those ads.
No.
And how would you, if you'd wanted to find me, how could you have found me?
Well, you found me, Sharyn, because you sent me a LinkedIn invite as the voiceover artist and the voice for the coronavirus ads, and I was so curious that I accepted it and then said hello. I'm very curious as to why you've connected with me, and it was the association with River City Labs.
That's correct.
That I was totally intrigued as to why you wanted to be part of my network, and then with River City Labs and the Activate program, it made complete sense. So tell me a little bit more about that experience with the Activate program at River City Labs.
Oh, if I could explain it in a very short phrase, it would be, it's like trying to drink from a fire hydrant.
Oh my goodness.
You literally have to work hard, run fast. It is an amazing program. The mentors are incredible. But you literally, when you dive into that as a program, get set to work hard and run fast. Because you're on a limited time frame, and it pushes you to get things done. It's amazing. So all I can say is, if you've got an idea that you think has got legs, then you need to get onto this program, and just, it'll test you. It'll test everything about your idea, but you'll get so much fabulous advice. And the cohort that you end up being with in the program are incredible.
Absolutely.
Everyone helps each other. And it really is. The support there is amazing. The mentors are incredible. They make you stop and think about things that you perhaps hadn't considered and look at it in a different way, because they've been there, done that. And unless you are very experienced as an entrepreneur and you have several startups behind you, which I can say I don't, it's wonderful to have that kind of mentorship and to be able to ask questions.
Yeah, definitely. And you've got that entrepreneurial spirit, but never been involved up until now with a tech startup.
No.
And in terms of the next cohort starts next month, I think it is. Is there any other advice that you give for them to really maximize their success?
Listen to everything that has been given to you from the mentors. Ask questions. Sometimes it can be a little intimidating, but just jump in, boots and all, because they're there for you in every sense of the word. Make sure you book in early. So when the calendars for the mentors open, just jump in and book. Even if you think, oh, what am I going to talk about? Just book, because you will have something to talk about, guaranteed.
Absolutely. So jump in, head first, boot first, you said, and totally absorb yourself in the whole process.
Get set. It is going to be a very fast run. And as I said, if I could put it into one phrase, it's like trying to drink from a fire hydrant.
Wow. So apart from drinking from a fire hydrant, what would you say are, and not obviously literally, what would you say have been the main challenges as an early stage tech startup founder?
For me, the frustration there's in trying to find the tech to start off with, trying to meet people who are developers that can, one, understand what I need to do. Because here's the thing, I kind of figured that if you're a developer, you can write code. Well, yes, but I didn't realize that they were so nuanced. And someone who writes code for iOS, for Apple, doesn't write code for Android.
Yeah.
And that's probably the biggest lesson that I had to learn up front. It was like, oh, okay, you're that specific. Gee, I didn't know that. And then you've got front-end developers and you've got back-end developers. So everyone is nuanced into their own specific area. Whereas I need, this is again something that I had to learn, I need a full-stack developer. And I actually need a full-stack developer that's got interest in audio as well, which means even more work. So that for me was a big lesson. And before coronavirus hit, I was going to all kinds of meetups to try and meet and talk to technical people. I have since discovered that there are some places, some online places that you can meet and have conversations with developers, which does make life a whole lot easier. But it's a vertical learning curve. I didn't know this. I had to learn it. And it's been interesting as a journey to start to delve into the tech world. But that would have been my first challenge, because what I want to develop is so comprehensive and so tech heavy, because it's not just the app. Then there's the platform that goes with that, with everyone's profile pages and with all of the additional features that I want to be on that platform. Really that's comprehensive, and it's quite a lot of work. So the tech side of things, and because I know it's quite tech heavy, that means it's also going to be expensive. So chasing down to get the investment side of things. And that is almost like a vicious circle, is that I need the money to pay the tech, but I need the tech so I can get the money. Which one comes first? That is actually a circle. I do wish that someone would solve that as a problem, because it really is a problem for not only me, but for others in the industry. It's like, we've got a great idea. We need to have the money so that we could do the tech, so that we can get more investment. You know, someone who would fund to a degree or work with the people at a concept stage.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it is a catch-22, of course, getting the tech, getting the investment. And as you say, it's all very dependent on each other. I think I heard recently, and correct me if I'm wrong, that River City Labs were trying to formulate something like that, bringing more tech people in from the Activate program and the other incubator type programs.
Yes, and I'm so pleased.
Yeah, which will be really useful. And I guess as well, developers tend to specialize, as you say, whether it's iOS or .NET or Java or JavaScript, etc., etc. And you almost need a wide view then going into a narrow view. So needing possibly not just one person, but someone overarching, and then people actually at the grassroots doing the work, but it's getting the investment for them to do that.
But you need the tech person first, because half of what you just said, most people who are not from a tech point of view, certainly myself, hey, I'm a voiceover artist. How am I going to know how to write code and what platforms is code going to be written in? That is another language completely. So from a non-tech point of view, how do you know what C++ is, and is that going to be okay? And do I need to ask for someone who can write in C++, and what does that mean? Or do I need someone who that's for a non-tech person, that is Swahili.
Yeah, absolutely. I can speak a bit of Swahili.
Well, please do.
I can't remember it now. Jambo, Asante Sana. I was stuck in Kenya when I was about 18 in the airport for a few hours, so I read the Berlitz Guide. But anyway, that's a different story. Coming back to, I have to go and revise it again. It was a long time ago. But coming back to investment and funding. So how have you funded your startup so far, and what are your plans moving forward?
I've bootstrapped, meaning I have spent my own money so far.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm looking for, and it's really been interesting over the last couple of weeks. We've managed to find and talk to some people who are developers. And again, it's an interesting, very interesting process. We've got a guy in Sydney who is very much into AI, can write the code, does not want to do UX or UI. Now, these are terms that I've actually had to learn. The user interface and the user experience. So UI is user interface, UX is user experience. He doesn't want to do any of that. That is other tech people who do that. He just wants to write the code on AI, which is artificial intelligence. There's another guy over in America that we're having a chat with who came from the gaming industry, which could be very, very interesting as well. So he's got a different set of skills. There's another one that we're hopefully having a chat with this coming Sunday who, again, has a different set of skills. So it's interviewing all of these people and thinking, okay, who's going to be the best one to start? And I'm very fortunate that one of my own mentors, I asked him to become a co-founder with me. He was happy just to stay as a mentor, but I said, no, look, I know what I know and I know what I don't know. And this this is a little more of his realm, the tech side of things. So not that he's a tech guy any longer, but he understands it a lot more than I do and can look at code and can speak kind of the same language, and they understand each other. It's like, John, thank you very much. So he has been wonderful. And if you can find yourself a mentor who has been there, done that, and works on the journey with you, like River City Labs is fantastic, but if you've got someone that you can find that will walk the journey with you, even better.
Yeah, definitely. Was it about 3 or 4 weeks ago when I first met you, and it's been such a rapid journey, even in those 3 or 4 weeks, about how you've learned and developed and the journey and everything.
It's been amazing.
And in terms of the challenges that you've had, have those been intensified because you're a woman, or would they have just happened anyway, being a tech startup founder who's not a tech?
I would say the latter. I don't think it's been because I'm a woman. Not at all. No.
Okay. It sounded a bit like a leading question because it's a yes or no question. The reason I asked is because I'm doing quite a bit of research about women in tech, and how, according to the ACS Deloitte Digital Pulse report, there's only 29% of the workforce are in tech. So I'm uncovering and asking questions with regards to that. And then the future. So what are the plans for Zijit over the next 6-12 months and well into the future?
Okay, with Zijit, what I'd like to see and what I'm personally aiming for with Zijit is to have the MVP, which is the minimum viable product, out by the end of January. And for me, the minimum viable product is going to be the app, but it's only going to start with the audio side of things. Now, as I've said, I want all of the people who work in the creative industries to be identified, to have this clickable list of credits. That's what I want. But to quote the story of of Amazon, the guy that started out Amazon, if you take a look at their logo, Amazon, it's got an A and it's got a Z in there. Underneath the A, pointing to the Z, is an arrow, a curved arrow. So that's from A to Z. His vision was always to be the A to Z of a department store.
Yeah.
Literally sending out everything. That was his vision. His big vision was to be the A to Z of everything. Where he started was books. So he got his distribution channel 1,000% correct and made sure that it was perfect before even venturing into anything else. So taking a lesson out of that and learning from other people, I don't need to reinvent the wheel. I will start with audio. I'm already a voiceover artist. I'm already in the community, and I already know a stack of other voiceover artists and audio engineers. So that is going to be my book.
Your niche, and get it really, really right. And then, like Amazon did with the books, and then go further, widen your reach there. That's fantastic.
Yeah, so we'll get that right first as we're doing that. And this is not just for Australia. This is worldwide. Everyone worldwide has the same problem, who work in the creative industries, every single one of us. So that's going to start generating a lot of data. That data will then be used to create and build out a platform, which there are so many things that I've got planned for the platform, one of which is to have a job board. So businesses, because it's a two-sided market. You've got talent, creative talent, and you've got businesses who need that creative talent. So they can come onto the platform and they can post jobs. But what I'd also like to see is going back to what I was saying before about newbies and hobbyists coming into the marketplace and saying, hey, I'm a voiceover artist, I can charge $5. Or, hey, I'm a copywriter and, I can bash out some words because it's really easy. I'd like to have a career path that's built into the platform. So instead of newbies and hobbyists feeling like they've done a weekend workshop and now they're left to their own devices. So that's when they start going into the marketplace and saying, oh, I'm just going to charge you $5 because I'm learning. Well, no, come onto the platform. We can put you out into the marketplace to businesses that really want someone who's cheap. That's okay. They're going to know that you are beginning and you are learning. So there is a win-win. You want a cheap person? Great. You want to learn? Great. We'll match you. But being on the platform as well, you've got other experienced people. So I want to see us as the professionals offer guidance, offer mentoring to help people who are the newbies and who are hobbyists and wouldn't mind taking this further. Give them advice, give them help so that they can do it properly. That way they don't harm the jobs that I'm going for. We help them through in this career path. So I'd like to see that for all elements of the creative industries, whether you're a copywriter, voiceover artist, or, audio engineer, animator, graphic artist, digital designer, videographer, to have the professionals assist and help bring people through this career path.
That's brilliant. And I really like, because at the beginning of the conversation, it was like all these young guns trying to, charge low, and which isn't good for the industry. But what you're doing is giving back and helping grow and nurture them, which is really fabulous. It's not, we don't want you, we just want you to be properly trained and more professional in what you're doing.
And unfortunately for them at the moment, as I said, there's weekend workshops, and it's like, I'm going to charge you $1,000 for a weekend workshop. There you go, off out the door, can be a voiceover artist. Well, no, you can't, because you're not good enough. No. But that's unfortunately what is happening in the marketplace. No, I don't like it, and most other people don't like it. I've spoken to a number of people who've been in this position as well, the newbies, and they're frustrated because they feel like they know that they need to learn. They know that they need to hone their skills, but there's no other place for them to do it except to go on to, and compete against people like me. And that for them is unfair as well. So, coming from a radio background, there used to be a lot of radio jobs, out in the country. You could go and you could be a radio announcer. You could learn and hone your skills there, or audio engineering, or do voiceovers, or do anything along those lines. Those jobs are no longer there. So how are they going to learn? That's the problem. So yes, career path along the way would be nice.
And you've got so many amazing ideas, but there's no way you're going to be able to, as you say, put them all into that MVP.
Not into the MVP, no, but they will be built into the platform.
And maybe even 12 months.
Couple of years.
I was going to say 12 months is going to be unrealistic. And you're learning all the acronyms: MVP, UI, UX, AI, etc., etc.
You have to.
It's absolutely covered with them.
I know.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing your insights, Sharyn. It's always so lovely and interesting talking to you and hearing your voice, of course. I feel like, I do know you, but even before I met you, I kind of felt like I knew you.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share at all?
Well, I just want to say thank you to you for hosting these podcasts and for giving everybody the opportunity to learn more about the industry that you're passionate about, and for being there and helping us in the startup world. I really want to say thank you to you, because this is a labor of love for you.
Thank you very much. That's really kind. Well, I love speaking to all you guys and hearing your stories and your purpose and where you want to go. So, as you say, it's a win-win situation. Well, thank you very much, Sharyn. And I've got one last thing to say. Kawari ya konana. That's Swahili. And it means good. It means, I was racking my brains trying to remember. It means goodbye and I'll see you again. And if any of the listeners can speak Swahili, I'm sure I will be corrected, because it was the Berlitz Guide many, many years ago. But thank you.
That's very funny.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nicola. You have a wonderful day.
hope that you enjoyed this episode. Please remember to subscribe, rate, and review. If you're looking for career advice, your next career opportunity, or to grow your tech team, then please call me, Nicola Steele, on 0499 773 546, or go to our website, jjptalent.com.au. The Don't Just Survive, Thrive podcast is part of the Spotlight series, which includes the YouTube channel Spotlight on Software Development. If you want more insights into the software industry, particularly tech startups, then subscribe to the Spotlight on Software Development YouTube channel. Thank you for listening. Until next time.